hold on to your honey, because you're in bear country. Welcome to the PC Nation Playbook, your go-to source for Pierce County sports and events. Join your hosts, Joey Lee, Andrew Cuneo, and Jeremy Gove from the Mike Birch Ford Showroom for the latest news, in-depth analysis, and exclusive interviews with coaches and players. Join the PC Nation. Go Bears!
The PC Nation Playbook is produced by Mike Birch Ford. You can watch and listen to our show on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on those channels to help others discover the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Plan your hunting getaway and escape to experience the beauty of Mossy Pond. Our diverse property right here in Pierce County allows you to enjoy various types of hunts, including plantation-style quail, hog, pheasant, and flooded timber-style duck hunts, all within 24 hours. At the center of it all, experience scenic, rustic, beautiful, and inviting amenities like luxury lodging, our first-class pro shop, fine dining, and the perfect event space. Book now and see why Mossy Pond Lodge is Georgia's premier hunting paradise.
Order banks are open for the 2025 Ford Super Duty. This is the only truck that's earned the right to be called Ford Super Duty. Available with power on demand and a 360-degree camera to watch your surroundings. It's America's most dependable heavy-duty truck. Stop the search. Call Mike Birch to place your order for a 2025 Super Duty today.
Welcome back to PC Nation Playbook. This is week 3, and it's produced by Mike Birch Ford. We've got another special guest, another Pierce County legend, Austin Moore, the All-State offensive lineman from the class of 2002. Three. Excuse me. I apologize.
Well loved and respected and well known in our community, Mr. Moore. And I appreciate you being here today, coming and joining us. Before we jump into football, I just want to say congratulations on getting married recently.
I waited for the right one.
You ready? Waited a long time for the right one, huh?
That's right.
I had Gove do a Facebook poll before you came in here this morning, and it was unanimous that she's much better looking, and knows a lot more about football than you. So
a lot more.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
Well, that's kind of the part. She can cook tailgating food, and she likes football, so that was a win.
She also works out harder than Austin does.
Yes, much harder. I usually come in and get an energy drink and wave at Cuneo, and they're like, all right. I got my scan in, keep my name at the top of the list, and in the middle of a competition to see who can be the top every
trying to be
month.
in that top 300 group at the end of the year.
Well, congrats on that. We couldn't be happier
you,
for you, so sincerely congrats on that. We'll just kind of go from the beginnings, and get to know you a little bit better. So when did you start playing football? Let me ask you that. Did you start way back in flag football days?
It was flag football. My earliest memory of really someone playing with that I played all the way through was Floyd Russell. It was Blackshear Tiger football. We played over there in the old Blackshear field and got beat up pretty good, and I was like questioning life. I said, do I really want to play this? Particularly when we played some of them boys from Baxley or Charlton County. They were always, mustaches, getting engaged at, I felt like 12 years old.
I'm 12.
Yeah.
That's right. So were you any good in those days? Or?
Probably not. I was out there kind of my dad's behest. He was like, you're playing football. And I was like, okay.
So you actually did turn out to be pretty good, obviously. We got you on here, as Andrew mentioned, one of the Bear greats. And so what did you play in high school? What position did you play?
I played offensive tackle in high school. I got to play a little bit of defense when Ryan felt we were that desperate that he put me in a few times. We went over to Irwin County, and everybody we were getting people injured left and right, and he was like, "All right, you got to go in there." So I was like, I love defense, but I probably wasn't quite as had that killer instinct that he liked. When he came to Blackshear, a weight program was just about non-existent. We were eating more on Fridays than we were doing workouts or walkthroughs, and he come there and he was like, "This is going to stop." And he said, "You guys are really you're going to work out," but we got in there and hit it hard, and I told him my famous quote. I tell everybody about him. I said I hated him, and I told him, I said, "I hate you."
You did say that.
I hate you, but he made us work and he made us better, and it was very obvious in the results we got on the football field.
So you played all 4 years
I did.
of high school? So
I did.
That was a lot. 2000 through?
Yes, it was 99 through 2002. I guess the football season was in 99. But I got me and a couple other guys, our 8th grade year, we got the chance to come up and practice, and Toms was the coach. Bill Toms was the coach those 2 years. And we got to practice with the seniors after our season was finished. And you talking about intimidation, Dan Driggers, I think he played offensive line. He was graduating that year, and he introduced us well with a couple of our kids. I started to question my resolve to continue playing football. Yeah. I didn't know that's something I wanted to do anymore, but I stuck it out. And I'm glad I did.
So you started out, like you said, as offensive tackle.
Yes.
And then did you play just a little bit of defense, or when he moved you over to defense, did you?
It was basically a little bit of defensive end, and it was and some tackles just according to what we were in, what set we were in. I kind of got out of the X's and O's, and I was just like, I was going to hit somebody. Because on the offensive line, you tend to need a little bit more of an intelligent person. So I like to think I was smarter than maybe I even thought I was. But we were out there and got on the defensive line. I always told him, I said, I can play the defensive line. I said, you don't have to think. I said, you just got to know how to tie your shoes. And I always remind those guys, I said, y'all are the shoe tires.
You two, did y'all ever play together, or you came later, Andrew?
I was a little bit
you
too young.
Yeah, he was after the fact.
I was still at Waycross Middle School.
I got to watch him.
That's right. Okay, so you mentioned Coach Toms. Who was coaching during that time? Was it Tom still during that period?
Yes, Bill Toms was my freshman and sophomore year, and his sophomore year was his last year. And then junior, senior is when we hired the new coach, and then Ryan came along with that. And he was our defensive coordinator. Okay. And
who was that coach then the last couple of years?
It's embarrassing.
Was that Davis?
Yes.
It's Craig Davis?
It's Craig Davis,
okay.
yes.
Okay, I was just about to say.
If you watch this, coach, forgive me. I'm so sorry.
So, who were some of the standout players that were on the team with you? I think we mentioned some of this a little bit. We talked about Tyler Simpson.
We talked about all the athletes.
We talked about that.
Tyler Simpsons, the Antoine McKenzie.
Yes, there were
on some of those teams, right?
There were a lot of guys. I remember. Travis was our quarterback, and he really. A lot of people, you have to have a good quarterback that's intelligent and that takes the lead. And I'm telling you, there were a couple of times, even to this day, I will think about when I see things going wrong on our field today. And I remember I said, you got a quarterback that goes there and literally grabs you by the face mask and said, "Get your butt in line. You're going to do this and you're going to do that." And it's good to be a leader and then have someone that can lead you. And I think you show yourself as a stronger leader when you can allow yourself to be led. Right. And I think as offensive line, we had a bunch of guys on that line that were very intelligent. Bledsoe, his dad was our offensive line coach, and he was the center, and he was smarter than all of us combined. But we had a lot of guys that were willing to take direction. Mm-hmm. Given that we were pretty independent people, we were willing to take direction, and that's a sign, I believe, of a good team. And I think that's why we went as far as we did.
Right, and so the whole offensive philosophy, I'm sure it changed from Tom's
Oh,
to Davis, right?
yeah, we basically had to relearn everything that we had been taught because it was mostly passing. It was pass.
Under
pass,
Tom's,
yes.
right? It was kind of a passing attack that transitioned
transition more of a running because, like I said again, we had the offensive line and we were a pretty big offensive line, and we had. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I was probably one of the smaller ones on the offensive line.
Right.
But we really worked on our technique, which, even you see a lot of guys like New Hampstead last week when they come out. I was like, man, they are huge, and I'm like, I just don't know if.
Well, we look at each other almost, I feel like, every week, and we say, man, they're way bigger than us.
I know. They walk out there, and I don't know if it's I'm a couple of foot short walking behind the field when I come in. I'm like, man, they look like giants. They're bigger than me.
We definitely felt that way when Brooks County walked out on the field.
Yes.
You said you really saw how big number 9 and number 54 were on that game.
Yeah, they were beasts,
boys.
And I look at schools that bring in size like that, and I'm not taking anything away from our guys and the heart that they have, and we obviously it works. But I'm thinking sometimes if we had that size in Pierce County, man, our genetic pool just isn't just not there.
We don't have that walking around.
But I'm doing my best. I brought one from Charlton County up, so we'll see what we can get in here in future dates.
Speaking of genetics, y'all had a gene pool in that class right there. We hadn't seen 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" walking around.
And even guys like Sammy Sharp, we had receivers that were 6'4", 6'5", 6'6",
and that stroll,
and that could run. I mean, and I look back and I'm like, where did that go, and how did it come? But I think looking at our guys coming up in the 8th grade, and there's some size there.
There is.
I'm not sure about as far as the line. Shamefully, I have not been and seen. But I'm excited about what we got coming up.
Right. And so back during, you mentioned that y'all made a little run. So y'all were, or you were a part of that team that made it to what, the Final Four? That played Buford?
We played Buford, and there was 2 games after that. They played America's. They played America's Sumter, and then blew them like 56 to nothing.
Okay, so it was quarters.
Yes, it was a quarterfinal. But that, I think, what was the final score of that game? 17 to. Anyways, it was a very close ball game. We led them at halftime, and after that game, their coach, he come over to a number of us, and he shook our hand. He said, and told Ryan, he said, that is the most physical football team that we have played in 3 years. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, they had not trailed at halftime in that period of time.
That was really when Buford kind of they started their run.
Yeah, that was it.
That time period right there where they really just, for all intent and purposes, they dominated football at that, in those lower classes at that point. And all I remember about that game was how cold it was.
I'm telling you what, when I come off that field, when you play a football game, you're sweaty and nasty. When I come off the field, took my pads off, I had a ring of sweat around my neck and between my legs, and that was it. I mean, it was so cold. We didn't do much sweating, but and I remember that they had the stands on one side of the field, and we could hear crickets when we were playing. It kind of messed with us, but I don't try not to make excuses when it comes to that. But I know it's always funny. Ryan tells the story that next year. He knew some guys up there, I believe, but that coach called. He may have talked to Craig. He called and said, what are y'all looking at this year? He said, because they were genuinely concerned about what, if we had to play a team like that again. He said, because y'all beat us up. And it makes you feel good. But I do remember that first hit I can't remember the guy that was the defensive end. He went on to play at Georgia. And that he hit me pretty hard, and I was like, "We're gonna have to hit a little harder tonight, boys." But we made something work. But it was fun, fun run because at that time, the last really winning season. It's been a while.
That was a thing of legend in Pierce County there for a while. We went through a little bit of a dark day, and before that was definitely a dark time.
We were in the dark ages.
And the pre-winning days.
Yeah. And I like to think too, that was we had some down seasons after that, but I feel like we really set an expectation and people enjoy winning. And when you get a taste of that, it really makes you want to do better, and which I think leads to our administration starting to turn over at that time when it comes to the board and people in the system that are willing to go the extra mile and do things when it comes to facilities, hiring the right people, and because that's what it takes to change a program.
Yeah,
because we were basically
was that
we were Brantley County.
Bad. Yeah, we're just
we were Brantley County.
I've made the comment, they've heard me all the time. When I first got here, Brantley was quote unquote our rival.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there saying, they are not our rival. And now it's gotten, and no disrespect to Brantley, but it's gotten to the point now where it's kind of like Florida playing Georgia in the 90s, where it's not a rivalry anymore.
It may be in your mind, but it's not in theirs.
It's not in theirs. Yeah.
And back in those, what you call the dark times when we, didn't really have many winning seasons, there was still plenty of talent and everything there.
Yes.
So I think what you hit on there, and Rock also hit on that, is the expectations. And I think there's just a whole total cultural change, starting from the top.
Right.
And then starting to see success and winning, like you said.
We went to Jessup the other day, and wonderful people over there, but their facilities, they need improvement. And the thing is, do facilities bring a winning season? Do they bring? No, they do not. But they bring people here that see that if we're willing to invest in what we have, that means we're obviously willing to go the extra mile to do what it takes to bring the right people and to do for them what needs to be done when they get here.
And you talk about facilities, and if anybody's watching, and there's been much ado about the field and whatnot that we put in here, but if you hadn't been to a game, you owe it to yourself to come and see.
Yes,
to see the facilities at Bearville. You can have your opinions or whatever, but like Andrew said, it's top notch. It's first class. The atmosphere out there, everything is unbelievable to me on Friday night. From where it was years ago
good gosh.
To what we have now.
It's not even the same.
Right. It would be like going back to what you mentioned.
I am a traditionalist when it comes to football. I don't like to mess with the uniforms. I don't like to mess.
Black uniforms, Austin. You don't like the
No, I like our silver breeches with our stripes, and I like our plain blue shirts. I leave it alone. But I'm also a grass person. I love football on grass, but I love what we have now. And I was talking to Ryan. He said Ryan wanted the turf, and I was like, brother, you win, and we'll give you whatever you want. And I feel like that's kind of the ability to people to give and take in a community. That if you're willing to do what's best for the people you've put in charge and trusted to make these decisions, and that's kind of like going back to Rock. Rock is not a perfect person. None of us in here are, but he does a great job, and I would not trade him for anything in the world to lead our athletic programs. And it's not just football. This is particularly talking about football, but he does a great job in leading all of our athletes and making the decisions, sometimes hard decisions that may upset some people.
Well, he genuinely loves Pierce County.
That's right.
That's the other part about it.
That's right.
Homegrown guy that genuinely loves his county.
That's right.
And I think he's the best athletic director.
You can even go as far as our Board of Education. You look at every individual one of those members, and I can go to every single one of them. And I can tell you something about them that makes them special to Pierce County and special to what we have here. Because I really feel like that's where the turnover started, as far as because it's really up to them what they allow, and in our school system and what they allow our administrations to do to make us better.
Absolutely. And so I'll ask you the same question I asked Rock. So did you ever in a million years think Pierce County could win a state title in football?
Never, ever. Not even the years we won it.
Talked about that too at the gym.
Never.
Right. And a lot of that for me is because the Metro Atlanta schools, the University of Beaufort, whoever, that can, pull in talent from
That's right.
a much bigger pool up there. So a lot of that, takes place in that, but I just didn't think it was possible. So
No.
what they've done is incredible.
Even last year when we won it, going in that season, I said I will be proud if we get 4 wins, because I'm like, man, we have lost so much talent, and but then I think that goes back to your coaching staff and our head coach, because he demands your best, which goes back to me telling him I hated him, because at that time I had never had anybody push me, because
it's become the culture there, though.
He knew what he could get out of people, and he sees talent and sees ability in players that some may overlook, and just they just want someone in there they can bring in, drop of a hat, and say, okay.
Yeah, and now the kids have seen what's possible.
Yeah,
and so we know it is possible now. 2 state titles later, and so they're all bought in from the high school all the way down.
Yes,
and so just the buy-in and the kids giving it their all, and they work hard.
And that culture, it really bleeds over to other communities and counties as far as they see that. And if I'm a parent, and particularly if I don't have any ties to a community, because you naturally have people that move in and out, people that come here from different places, and if I'm being set down here and all right, this is where you're moving to, and I've got a kid that's 8th grade, 7th grade, whatever, and they're coming up in a few years, and I'm traveling around and looking. It goes back to our investment in facilities, in coaching, in what it takes to win. And I come here and I see that what this leadership is willing to put that type of thought or that type of money into these. This is where I want my kid. And then I see what the development our coaching staff can do with kids that may not be the most talented. I mean, is there really a question of where you're going? And so
you've got a college campus for a school now.
That's right.
The weight room is top notch. The school system's always been really, really good. Baseball, softball, football fields, all are collegiate-esque. It's a really nice place to have kids grow up and go to school.
That's right.
So,
and the other thing, not to mention, we all like to get and complain about a dirt road in Pierce County, but we have we also have a county government. You look at Mr. Raphael, that's our county manager. I don't think there is anybody that we could have hired that does a good job. That he lives in this county, and he is really out there supporting the people that we have in place to do stuff. Is there room for improvement? There's a lot of room, but I love the people we have in place in our commission and our county government, because that again bleeds over, and they work hand in hand together to make Pierce County a better place to live. And we have a wonderful community, and people want to move here even if they don't have kids, because we have a great community to live in, and they really do their due diligence to try and take care of us, the best they can.
Absolutely. We've mentioned that. I don't think there's a better place to live.
No.
And,
we are God's country.
Yes, we are.
Minus the gnats. We are God's country.
All the time.
Coach Harris mentioned it after both championships. Like, there's no place like Pierce County. He reiterates, I'm telling you guys, there is not a place like Pierce County.
Start Vegas,
with the community support and buy-in that we have, the kids that we have, the willingness to work.
And I tell you something else, and I've told people this. Used to, I would sit up in the stands right below Andrew, but when my grandfather, when he got sick, we knew time was short, and he always stayed down there at the fence because it kind of hurt him to get up those steps. So, and that season, I knew that time was growing short with him, so I started sitting down there with him in the end zone. And is the view terrible? Yes, it is. But for somebody who has an inkling of what's going on, I can kind of tell where I'm at about what's going on. But when you're down there, we're on the other side of the field, and we talk to a lot of visitors that are coming in the gates, and the consistent comment that we get is, "Man, y'all have some great facilities. You have a great atmosphere." And then Jimmy has the the tailgate going on, the Touchdown Club at the little pavilion down there, and
unspoken heroes.
It is, and it's the little things. We like to point fingers at people in charge and say, they're the reason, but it is a conglomerate of people working together, and we have an atmosphere. And I'll tell you one that, and I hope we never ever constrict this is, the kids playing down there in the end zone. You can always find negatives and things, and we've been to other football facilities where they do not like kids running around, and again, that goes back to our community.
And those teams are 2-8.
That's right. But you have pickup games, sometimes 3, 4, 5 different football games going on in the background back there. And the comment that they always say is, y'all just have a great atmosphere. The kids feel safe. As parents, we feel safe for letting our kids play down here. And they're having a good time. And there's so much going on. And, I really don't believe we appreciate what we have here. Because although we sit here and say it, when you live in some of these other communities and you come here and you get to experience that, it is really something
I
unique.
couldn't imagine it anywhere else.
It really is unique.
Like I said, there's nothing like it. So after high school days for you, then what?
I went to Waycross University for a semester, and then I decided I wanted to walk on or play football somewhere else. And I had applied to University of Georgia, and I applied to Alabama. I applied to Arkansas and Mississippi State. And because I was, in my mind, there's different mindsets with guys. You can go to a smaller school and have a lot more playing time. And I really could have done that. I applied to Georgia Southern, got in, went on a visit there, and I just, I didn't care to do it. I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do something, big. So we went on a visit and went to Georgia, and that was actually not an official visit or anything. We just went and did the tour of the campus, and we were walking around. And as big of a Georgia fan as I am, I looked at my dad and I said, I don't want to come here. And I said all of my grandfathers were rolling over in the grave at that moment, but I didn't. I love football there, but I didn't want to go to school there. So he said, all right. So we went to Alabama and went to Arkansas. In Arkansas, that's a long way from the house. We got back from out there playing Tennessee that weekend and got back, and I went to Alabama and got the tour of the capstone. They really took us around and showed us out, and I was accepted to all of those and got my acceptance letter. And they were actually playing Mississippi State that year in Tuscaloosa, and Mississippi State beat them in Tuscaloosa with Shula. And I was like, and I said, second, they beat them the year after that too. So we went to, I'd like to go to Business Starkville because it's literally from Tuscaloosa right down the road. And there you got, it's like high school rivalries. You got colleges, major colleges right there at each other. And I went, I got accepted at Mississippi State, and I went to school over there. I got there a day early, and of course my dorm was not ready. So they put me up in the Quality Inn in Stark Vegas. And I remember I walked in, and I sat on the bed, and I didn't know a soul in the entire state of Mississippi. And I sat there on the bed, and I cried. I said, what in the world am I doing in the state of Mississippi? But anyways, it got in the room, and we were in the freshman dorm. Everybody has to stay there. Just kind of, they make you experience it. And that's the first time I'd ever really done community bathrooms, and I was appalled. I said, this is terrible. I said, this is not life. But I went and walked on the football team, and Sylvester Kroom was the head coach at the time. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, that was probably one of the most awesome experiences to be able to go to an SEC program and just, do it. Basically, I would say the hard way. I went on there, and there were a lot of people that really helped me, find my way, because I was lost as a goose. I didn't know anything about anything. And they had advisors that really, they picked your classes out, and, they took care of you as far as that goes. And it was eye opener, because at the time, I'm from South Georgia. I had been a few places but never on my own with a collegiate program. And I got on there, and we went to practices early that morning, the spring practices, and we were working out. The ROTC was here, and I knew. I said, "You're here with the ROTC. What are they doing here?" Well, basically, it's they're going to see who's going to tough it out, and it was hellacious. And I was like, again, third time in my life, I'm questioning: do I really want to play football? But I'm
sure there were more than just you.
Yeah, Brick Haley was my defensive line coach. He is. Last time I checked, he had went to LSU with Les Miles after Kroom left, and I think I know at some point in time he was with Chicago, and then he was at Minnesota. I can't remember. I have to look back up and see where he's at now. But
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. We're excited to announce that Waycross will be getting an upgrade in the fix-it department. Locally owned Farmers and Builders is the latest helpful addition to the neighborhood. Visit their new location at 121 Victory Drive in Waycross. You can count on Farmers and Builders for hand-picked products like Traeger, Milwaukee, and Yeti. Not to mention award-winning service and advice you can count on. Join us November 22nd through 23rd, 2024 for the grand opening of Farmers and Builders in Waycross. Bennett & Johnson Insurance is an independent agency with the customer in mind. We have relationships with dozens of insurance companies and are dedicated to finding the right coverage with the best company at the best price for you. Contact Bennett & Johnson for all of your insurance needs. Go Bears!
So, Austin, not a lot of people get to experience being a part, playing football for a major college football program. Talk a little bit about what that's like.
It's very structured. You have a lot of guys coming from different backgrounds, and when you get them in there, you have got to reel them all in. There's a lot of personality differences, and that's something that that you see even on your local level, your high school football teams. But when you have guys coming in from basically all over the country, SEC, you have a large pool of talent that you go and you pull from. And when you get those guys in there, you really have to have some type of process and structure. Woody McCorvey was the offensive coordinator, and Sylvester Kroom was the head coach at the time, and he really demanded the most from us. That was really as far as the way we acted and handled ourselves outside of the football program. He was not somebody that fooled around a lot, and he didn't expect you to fool around. And when it was time to go, it was time to go. There were times when some of the guys I would say, they got out of line, and he would call you into the office. And that was never a good thing, to be called into Sylvester Kroom's office, because it was we weren't talking about wins at the time. we were talking about something completely different. But having people up there as support staff to really help you and make the decisions, whether it be educationally or what you were going to do with your career. And like I said, when I chose to transfer to Valdosta State, they helped me all the way to get that handled. And I wasn't walking around, or like the experience most college students have that are not involved in athletics is they're on their own. They have to go get it. They go to their advisor and they can help them. But these guys, basically, you told them what you were planning to do, and they said, all right, this is the path to do it. We'll do it for you. So it's kind of, it made you dependent upon them, but it also made life easier, because I'll be honest, I didn't want to think. I didn't. I just do it. I was at the point. I was kind of like when I got to Vidalia State and graduated. I had kind of got lost in the in the world of school, and I was like, okay, I'm going to quit. I'm going too long. And my advisor called me and said, well, Mr. Moore, looks like you're about to graduate. And I was like, gosh, I was so excited. I was like, I kind of forget what was going on here. But it's a very structured life, and like you see, we've seen what's going on in Athens, and this guy's struggling with their car driving habits. You have to go back and remember these guys are young, and there's 18, 19, 21-year-olds that have really got the first taste of freedom. Mm-hmm. And you have to put yourself back in that time frame and that mindset sometimes. And listen, we expect a lot because they're put on a platform, and we're really, you're larger than life. But once you get in it, the short period of time that I was, they're normal people. Even the coaching staff, they're normal people. They have children, they have wives, they have a life outside of that. And you have to remember, these are normal people you're dealing with here.
Well, I love your story, and I think it can resonate with a lot of our kids that we have, these days to keep pushing and dream big. And I mean, you went the hard route, like you said, you went the walk-on route. Mm-hmm. So even if they don't get that scholarship, maybe that they're after, there's still things that they can work toward. And there are other ways. And of course, we saw that with Stetson, of course.
Yes, most definitely.
The all-time greatest walk-on.
And it goes back to, we're talking about them, Ryan, a while ago, really pushing me into the point where I didn't like him. But had I not had that, I wouldn't have been able to deal with the pressure and the pushing that was done, the expectations that were expected out of me on that level by my defensive line coach. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So after college then, what are you doing these days? I'm glad you're back home in Pierce County.
Yes,
we're glad to have you back here. And so
I work for Superior Propane, Brantley Gas, known locally. I work for the company that bought them, and I'm over the Southeast Georgia and Florida Panhandle, Tallahassee offices, the area. Okay. So I deal with their problems, and as you know, in a business like that, everybody's always got a problem. So I'm here to basically talk people off the ledge and try to solve problems and to help. I support our office staff. We have a great staff. It is a great place to work. It's probably the best job that I've ever had. But they are a great company to work for, and it's very, very laid back. But I love being able to be home and to be here in Pierce County. And I love, not often people get, I love my job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you. And we talked a little bit about the marriage and Lauren earlier, but one thing that I failed to mention, you got to go to this guy's Facebook page and check him out. He's raised the standard for all Bear Cubs coming up, singing your wife down the aisle. I know you like to sing, but that was pretty impressive, and you might get Pierce County's most romantic guy title for that. I don't know.
I wanted it. I had found a song a while back that I said if I ever got married, I was going to sing this to my wife down the aisle. And the day of, no one knew except me and Miss Cindy Callahan, who played the piano for us. I went to her a couple of days before the wedding, and this was almost the ceremony that didn't happen, and I'll tell you about that. And this is good stuff right here. I went to her and I said, "Listen," I said, "I want you to do something for me." I said, "I've got this song." And she had never heard it, about some Irish singer. I said, "I want you to learn how to play it." I said, "I'm going to sing Lauren down the aisle." And Cindy, she's, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. I can't do it." I said, "Cindy, hold it together." I said, "I don't need you crying." I said, "I need you playing." So anyways, no one knew the day of the wedding come, and her grandfather married us. And he and I were standing behind the piano waiting to come out. And I told him, I said, we're not going to play a song. So I'm going to sing her down the aisle. He said, "Oh my goodness!"
Were you more nervous in that moment, or getting ready to hit an SEC offensive lineman?
I was much more nervous at this wedding because, on top of it all, this was a surprise wedding. No one knew that this was even coming. Everyone thought it was going to be December the 14th, but I had made it extremely clear that we are not getting married on a Saturday in the fall. We will not do. I said, I'm not going to do that.
She probably wouldn't agree to that either.
I don't know. She did not want that either. She was adamant. She was like, no. She said, my brother he would, my dad, everybody be like, what's the matter with you? So I took everybody's feelings in consideration on my wedding day. And anyways, I said, I wouldn't do that to people. But anyways, we got up there and I sang her down the aisle. But going to to have the wedding, our wedding was originally supposed to be at the Presbyterian Church, and we had everything set up there ready to go because we like the old style of the church, very antique looking. And the Friday at noon prior to the wedding, we had just had a tropical storm. The plaster in the ceiling collapsed at noon.
Wow.
And Miss Jane Bowen, my cousin, she called and she said, Austin, she said, you remember what you told me? The only reason we wouldn't have the wedding here is if the ceiling collapsed. She said, well, it has happened. I said,
you spoke it into existence.
I said, Jane, I said, are you serious? She said, yes. She said, come up here and look. So we went up there, and I'm in panic mode, and I'm not even telling Lauren. She would have cracked up and just, anyways. I went ahead and I called Cindy. I said, Cindy, you've got to get a hold of Justin. I said, well, you've got an emergency. I am getting married tomorrow and I need a church. I said, the ceiling has collapsed. So thankfully, Justin allowed us to use First Baptist, which is where my mom and dad got married at. So it was it was nice. They got married at the old First Baptist, but it was meaningful to do that. But after I got that handled and settled, I went home and I said, Lauren, we're not getting married at Presbyterian anymore. Why? And she's probably thinking I'm stopping the wedding. Or I said, because the ceiling has collapsed. She immediately burst into tears and just is getting, falling down on her. And I said, I've got it handled. I said, I've already got another venue. I said, everything is good. So it worked out good. And it was a very memorable day. And, it was my wedding, but being able to surprise people. People don't get too many surprises anymore, and I thought that was a great surprise because I stood back there in the back and literally watched everyone come in.
Yeah,
because they had met at the depot, and Chad Brown was DJ, and he said, "You've all been brought here on false pretenses. We need to make our way to First Baptist. They're actually getting married today." Wow. And the look on everyone's face, I said, to me, that was priceless. I said, I like to pull a fast one on everyone, so it was a good day.
Just a couple more quick things before we get into the next segment of the show. One of them may be a little bit controversial here, but we all watch you on social media, and so we see your little memes and stuff. What's with the personal disdain or the beef with the school from the north? Is there something there, or you just like to poke at them, or I refuse to wear red during the week. I mean, I'll wear red on Saturday, but.
To all my customers in Appleton County, you're much appreciative, and we thank you for your business, for the school system. Growing up in Pierce County, our rival was always Brantley County because it was the level of talent that we had and it matched with. And as we have progressed and gotten better athletically, we have upped the game and matched what Appleton County has. They have been pretty good
and surpassed them.
And yes, and we have won 2 state championships to their none. And in football, that is. And it's a great day to be up there. But anyways, it is
like you put on social media. This is the land of champions, right?
This is the land of champions, and that is just land up there. And it's beautiful land, but it's just land.
Very nice people.
Very nice people. Very, very good, wonderful people. I have people that go to church with me from Appleton County, but
got a lot of friends in Appleton County.
I do, but I love to beat them, and I don't care.
It's fun. It's always fun. It's a fun week.
And that I love poking our rivals like that because I don't try to get nasty with people. I don't believe in that, but I think that's what makes.
Yeah, it makes it fun.
That's what makes it fun and makes games worth going.
Keeps it a rivalry.
Because we were all, we're going to church, hold hands, and pray, and I love all y'all, but I like a little bit of a ribbing every now and again. And the thing is, though, you have to learn how to take it when the shoe's on the other foot and you lose to them.
They've beaten us the last couple of years. So.
They have, but I told him if it takes for us losing to Appling every year to the championship, I will hand y'all that W on a silver platter every single year. Now, Coach Herring will probably disagree with that as far as he don't want to lose, but I'll hand it to you. I'll get it from him. I'll take it over there. But it's a good rivalry, and I love to beat them when we can.
and the last thing, going back to social media, we all know that you're the local weatherman.
It's the second job.
And so how fitting is it to have you on this week as we have something developing down here in the Gulf? What are we looking like? I mean, is it going to blow us away? Are we going to get the Friday night lights?
I've questioned that. I don't know. People rib me about that and say, you're the new weatherman. Mississippi State is the number one meteorological school in the country. All of your meteorologists come from Starkville, Mississippi, through that school.
I wish you had done that.
Yes, I know. I'd have been great at it.
Instead of a podcast, we might have been doing the weather channel. Who knows?
I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to stuff like this. I can nerd out on some things, history and weather. I love it. But I watched it, and basically, I've heard people say, "Oh, you criticize me on the." I don't make up my own weather forecasts. I literally just share what I've seen from other people that get paid to do this. So, and a lot of times, like Miss Allie Dixon said, put it on the bottom shelf for us. I said, so Allie, on the bottom shelf, it's going to be windy Thursday night. So
maybe it clears on out of here. That look like it might be moving pretty fast.
And that's the thing, which again, it will get out of here, but it also increases our chance of getting a lot higher winds, because when it comes in so fast, it doesn't have time to die. The Debbie, the most recent one, it was very slow, so we got a lot of rain, didn't get a lot of wind, but it's always concerning. Growing up in Pierce County, I live on a farm. We have a lot of land and a lot of beautiful land. And Lauren and I were actually walking yesterday down there, and I said, these old trees that we have out here, I said, we didn't plant them, we didn't grow them. God did this. I said, but it can all change in an instant. Yeah. And we have been blessed where we live, again, in God's country, to have missed a lot of this. But it goes back to me, even like with Georgia football. I've continuously tell myself, you cannot worry so much about something you have absolutely no control over. So, that's one of the things that you literally have to put in God's hands. Say, Lord, protect us, and you just take care of us, and you hope for the best. You prepare for the worst, hope for the best. But it's going to be windy because it's a very big system, and it's wide. And a lot of people focus on that eye of where it goes, but yes, that is the core, the wind. But it's going to be windy a long ways away. But we're leaving town Wednesday. We're going to. We're going up.
You're going to Titletown.
Tuscaloosa.
We'll get into that. You're going to Titletown.
I'll leave y'all with it.
That's right. Let's move into our next segment, the Bear Breakdown, and we'll talk about Brooks County. But before we do, there's been a video circulating around about Caden McGatha, and then we threw out some stats. I think we mentioned against New Hempstead that maybe we heard he had 105, 107 yards rushing. But his stats were, he had 31 carries for 205 yards. He threw for 180 yards on 9 of 11. 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers, and he ran for another score. So 6 total touchdowns and 385 yards in that win. This guy, he's a beast. He's every week,
dog.
I wish I had his toughness and resolve when I play football. Yeah. I'd probably been a lot better athlete than some of you think I was. Yeah. I know
we all held our breath in Brooks County in the fourth quarter when I looked down. He was holding his arm. I said,
And the thing is, I as much as he runs and as physical as he is, I would have expected that games ago. He is so tough, and kudos to him, and thankful to have somebody like that, because
he might be the toughest bear all the time. I mean, and to tote the ball 53, 54 times in the state championship game, I mean, unbelievable. But let's talk about Brooks County. So, congratulations to Jeremy Gove. You won on the score prediction last week. Jeremy had a score of 24-14. As we know, it ended 17-14. So, Andrew, you got a W. Gove, you got a W. Y'all are shutting me out. I don't know what's going on. But, so I wasn't there. As I mentioned in the last video, I was having to watch on NFHS because I was off on vacation. But I know that you were there. So tell us a little bit about Brooks County game. Let's talk about that a little bit.
They have a terrible atmosphere. Again, it goes back to the great job we do at Pierce County. But we show up to play. We'll go play in bad atmospheres, beat your tail and come back to a good one. But when they walked on the field, of course, naturally we're looking at the athletes they have out there and their size. And Brooks County is blessed with athletes. They are very and size. They are packed to the gills. And I was kind of concerned. I said, particularly what I'd heard about the speed coming around the end. Can our tackles continuously handle that?
And one thing that we hadn't talked about. I mean, we threw out a lot of the skill players in these shows, but we haven't given credit enough, and we lost some guys, and so we've got some new guys on the offensive line. We haven't given those guys enough credit, because you can't do what Caden did against New Hampstead or anybody else without outstanding play from your O-line. And we know what Coach Schultz is, and how he's going to develop those
great
kids.
Coach.
But the kids on the line, I mean, the new guys and stuff, I mean, they've really done a better job than probably I thought they would at this point, and they'll continue to get better.
That's right.
So we need to give them.
They're facing stacked boxes every single week.
Every week.
Hats off to them. But I also did say our first two guests on this show are offensive line.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
We're giving credit where
that's where the game's won in the trenches.
That is
right?
where it's won. I mean, you have to go no further than Kirby Smart and Nick Saban. They'll tell you the same thing. It's a very you don't get a lot of credit, and you don't get awards, and you don't get the pats on the back like these good-looking guys that are playing quarterback, and these skill positions where you look pretty and get all the girls. Yes, I did get a touchdown in my career against Tatnall County. I said that was the first. I said we fumbled the ball, which I never thought it was a fumble, but I got on the end zone, so I was proud. That was always my accolade. I like to hold up. And I said I got mine.
Now I will say this about the Brooks County game: defense still was stout. They had a couple of
kind of like Coosa.
The first drive did have me a little worried.
We won the toss, right, and deferred to the second half, and they get the ball and
drove it right down our throats, and then Ryan here
he adjusts,
and he does it as good at the high school level as I have ever seen.
Right.
You might do it once, you're not going to do it again. You better come up with a new scheme after that, because
and that's also the support staff. Once they got up in that box that are watching, I'm not going to get into the X's and O's because I don't like to anymore. I'm up there with Archie Manning when he went up when Peyton was playing at Tennessee. Phil had him. He invited Archie. He said, "Come and watch the video." He said, "Maybe you can get some pointers." And he said they're going on there for 10, 15 minutes of that little QB skull session. He said, "Well, it's back in Archie's over there snoring." He said, "Man," he said, "What?" He said, "Listen, I don't get an X and O's anymore." He said, "I'm here as a fan of the game," and that's kind of like I really have. I'm a fan of the game now. But
that's right.
You got those guys like he said that can adjust.
Unbelievable.
Because I've seen it so many times, and not just this year, that the team will come out hair on fire. I'm like, boys, we ain't stopping them.
We're going to get everybody's best shot.
And that's it.
Right.
That's the rest of the game.
I told somebody, one of the players, I won't name him, Saturday, we're sitting there fixing deer stands, and he said, "What did you think about the game last night?" I said, anytime you can go to somebody else's house, you not play your best game. And I told him, I said, I felt like we were kind of flat. I said, and we got their best game.
Turnovers, had a little bit of turnover.
Had turnovers, had some questionable penalties.
A lot of drop passes.
They mentioned. Did you? I mean, you were there, so I don't know if you know this or not, but I mean, they mentioned it on the broadcast on NFHS where I was watching. We had an unsportsmanlike conduct called on the band. Did you know that sitting there in the game? And they said they've never seen that in 13 years of calling games.
I was standing there, and I'll give you play-by-play of what happened. I watched the whole. I just happened to be there.
It was 3rd and 16 on this penalty was thrown. By the way,
I'm literally standing in front of the band, which
we love you.
God love our band. I appreciate our band. It's great. Robert does a good job. I was standing in front of them, and whoever was playing the drums, they were beating the drums while they were over the ball, and they know better than that. It just happened, I guess. Anyways, the referee turned around and told Coach Herring, "You need to silence the band while they're over the ball." Basically, the rule is, for people who don't know, in football, once the center is over the ball, all exterior noise that's not coming from fans' voices has to stop. So you can't have instruments playing. He turned around and told Coach Herring, "You need to quieten the band." And Coach Herring immediately walked over and told Coach Jernigan. And before Jernigan could turn around and get back past me, I was standing on the sideline. Before he could get past me, they had done thrown the flag. And I'm like, and I almost, I lost my cool because I'm being chill over there. I'm trying to be, noble. And I'm like, you got to give us more time than at least let's get to the sideline. So, we knew better than beating the drums while they're over the ball, but that was. Goes back to that kind of. It goes back to that kind of. I feel like we're on the road.
That's right.
And their referees are probably in the vicinity of Quitman, Georgia.
Southwest Georgia crew.
Yeah. So, anyways,
and our band's an integral part of what
they are. Let me tell you something.
I mean, I sit with them on Friday nights, and I love it. They get me fired up.
Sometimes I'll look over at Robert, and I'll tell him. I said, "You a little louder," and he gets those the guys, particularly when they're on our side of the 50 or the side of the 50 where the band's at, they're going to get up and shout and make noise, which is 100% legal. Yeah. He's going to get them after, and Robert has football knowledge, which makes it big for a band director. But anyways,
well, I love the first thing that we do after a win or a loss. The team goes through, we shake hands, and we immediately go to the band.
Yeah, play alma mater.
And I always think that's cool. And the football players, they love it. It's the first. I mean, they all run over there to go do it. So.
Well, it's one of those things that really it brings people together. And
right.
There are different personalities in the band than there are most time playing football. Right. And in the past, I've heard people feel that they are not as appreciated. And that's why, I used to have a small business in town, and I really, a couple of times, as football minded as I am, and as really, I'm geared towards let's do what we can for the football team. A couple of times I went, let's buy the band food and take care of them, because that's something that you really can get lost in in everything is everybody makes the atmosphere we have.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
They do a great job. They get me really fired up. These guys know I'll sit there and I will play clips from YouTube, the Sound of Silver, like at
Yes.
when they were at Iconic Park.
Yeah.
The 20-minute clip, yeah. Cudio's probably hearing it across the way. I'm getting fired up over there listening to the band.
Hey, I tell you what, I put
a
a bug in someone's ear, and Robert. That would be something I think we should do, or they should do, is get in the room and make a soundtrack of Pierce County fight song.
I agree.
And stuff like that, because we can use it on the radio, and we can use it on commercials. We can use whatever it is.
I didn't know what song it was. One of them sounds like Na 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 Boo Boo to me, but it's the hip hop song "Stand Up and Get Crunk." That one gets me fired up, and then the halftime one. I mean,
Robbie of Na 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 Boo Boo.
Yeah, I feel like we're taunting, and I love it. I mean, it sounds like a taunting song to me.
But it's I love the involvement that, and winning brings people together. Winning, what did Ron say? Winning football makes the town happy, or something of that nature.
It brings everybody.
Winning makes everybody happy. It makes a very good town.
Back to Brooks.
Back to the Brooks
Sorry,
game.
I'm getting y'all on rabbit trails.
Looking at the clock on the second to last play of the game, how did we end up getting a second back onto the clock? Because it looked like he threw the ball. He threw it in 2 seconds.
I'll go ahead and tell you this. I was not watching the clock, neither was anybody else in that stadium, except
they weren't watching the whole night.
Except for 3 officials, because I literally was watching them when he caught the ball, and all 3 simultaneously held their hand up 1 second. So I was thinking, for someone who wasn't watching, for 3 of them, not near each other, somebody saw something. So,
well, the clock management at that game, not obviously in that part, was great. In the first half, time and time again, I watched where, right at the end of the half, it was sitting there and they let 6, 7, 8 seconds run off the clock, and then they'd stop it.
And that goes back to a completely different subject right here. Is in Georgia, we have such a talent-rich state, and you look at the recruits that come out in colleges, and we're usually somewhere in the second or third, right behind California, Texas, Florida, Georgia. We're all in that little box. It bothers me that, and I'm not knocking individual officials or associations, it bothers me that our powers that be, whoever that may be, that we have not allowed our officiating capabilities to keep up with the talent levels we have in our state, because that has a lot of effect on outcomes of games and player development, whether it be player your attitudes during the game. Because if you think about it, we've seen it in some games that we've had. If you have a lackadaisical officiating crew, it can get out of hand. Appling-Pierce rivalry, Crisp County a few years ago when we won our first state championship. If you have a crew that allows it to get out of hand, it can go sideways very quick. And like I said, I'm not knocking our officiating and our leadership that we have. Reese Turner's had the gold leaf, and he does a great job. But the complaints that I constantly hear is they don't want to back our officials up. They don't want to pay them. You're going to get what you pay for, regardless of what field you're in. And they take a lot of criticism. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, it's a job I wouldn't want. And I really try. I have caught myself to not be as critical of these guys, because I have a relationship with a bunch of them,
sitting there watching,
and I've seen ugly instances in the past at Pierce County with officials that are from Pierce County, and that is not a good thing ever. You have to control yourself, and you have to control your attitude, and I've been guilty of that. And I have personally had to go apologize before, so I really try not to let that happen again.
That's right.
Well, and I'll piggyback off the 1 second left.
You'll get down to 1 second.
I'm sorry, guys.
We're
all over the place.
Good. This is great.
Our kicker is our kickers are a lot like our offensive linemen. They don't always get a whole lot of spotlight until it's their time, and then sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's not. But a little shout out to Garrett Stevenson. The Joker comes in and drills a 47-yard.
I know he's been upset with himself throughout this year because he's missed, a few extra points and whatnot. And so to get that opportunity, and when they bring him in there, I'm thinking
The lights are shining the
the
brightest.
lights are shining right. And does this kid have the leg to even get this thing there?
As Larry Munson once said, he's in honor of us playing Alabama. Carswell said Garrett saved our fanny.
Yes, he did.
In Quitman, Georgia, because
I really did not want to go to overtime with that team.
no, I most definitely, and I was already resigned to that's what we're going to do. And I apologize to Garrett. I did not have faith in you, but you proved me wrong.
Yeah.
And I will owe you a lunch whenever you and your dad want to have it.
There you go.
There you go.
Hold him to it, Garrett.
I have a
So
company
our
credit
Bears
card.
improved to 5-0.
Yes, sir.
And next up, we've got Vidalia. So we'll talk about them briefly. But Vidalia, they're 3-2 on the season. Okay, they have wins against Scriven County, Tattnall County, Brantley County, and their losses coming one in the first game of the year against Long County, close game. They lost 2 weeks ago to Dodge, and they have an off week last week before hosting us this week for their homecoming game. So they're going to be fired up, ready to play. We're on the road. We got to play them over there. So thoughts on Vidalia?
Well, I'll say, looking back at that loss to Long County is much improved.
Much improved.
I don't
It's
know.
not the same Long County from when I was in school.
I don't know anything about Long County other than that
I just know they win a lot.
they're winning against people that I never thought they could.
That's right.
Vidalia has always been a tough team to play. You remember, was it last year or year before last, we had to play up there.
It was a close game.
And it was a close game, and it should not have been a close game. But Vidalia, again, is another one of those counties and those towns that's blessed with athletes. You look at Toombs and Vidalia right now, you combine those two schools, and that's easily 4A, 5A school probably.
That competes.
That competes. And so you naturally have the population base to provide you athletes.
That's
and
right.
it's Vidalia.
They actually played a pretty good Dodge team last week and played them really, really close. I think it was a one-score game.
13-7.
It was a close game. And they've got athletes. Their quarterback's an athlete. Barry, I think is his last name.
Yeah, he's a senior quarterback.
The running back, Jamarion Phillips, I think is his name. And he's kind of their bell cow. He's a good running back. And they're not huge on the defensive side of the ball, but they look fast. They're scrappy. They held a pretty good Dodge County team from all intents and purposes. I haven't followed Dodge County, but I know they're also 5-0.
And you got to play in Dodge County, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. We drove up there on that dirt field they had and played up there. Old Cunha, he'd been in the mud bog when he come out. But coming up Vidalia, when that schedule came out, I was thinking whoever made the Georgia schedule this year is also who made Pierce County's schedule. Because when I looked, I said, "What in the world?"
Yeah.
Crisp County, Cook County.
Right.
I said, "My goodness, this is the SEC of the high school football right here."
It looked like that before the season. Now I don't know so much.
Right.
I mean,
but
you're right. It's still right. Tougher, much tougher region than we've
had to pass. Because that was the reason Ryan had tried to schedule a lot of these teams that give us more of a run outside of region, because in the past our region had been so weak. And then, like I said, we've seen this initially. You expected, oh my goodness, everybody can be undefeated when we play them.
Well, it's homecoming week. Like I said, we're going to get Vidalia's best.
Yeah.
You can believe that. They're going to come out. Of course, we know what we're going to do, and I have full confidence in Heron and our staff that will be ready to play.
I think we're starting to get a little healthier. I thought we were going to see Ja and what's number 9's name?
Javion Williams.
Javion.
Yep.
I apologize, Javion. But thought there was a chance they were coming back this past week. Not mad that they didn't.
Well, we'll need them more in region plays.
That's right. That's right.
Again,
I want them healthy. I don't want them to rush back.
That's
but,
right.
You're talking about two kids that are important in the long run to this success, and hopefully they're getting healed up, and maybe we'll see a little bit of them in action this week.
Well, too, it goes back to the whole the weather forecast.
Yeah.
Do we get to play this game Friday?
Yeah.
That's right.
I think we will. I think it's going to move out of here.
Right. I hope so.
Let's proclaim it.
Yes, let's proclaim it.
Well,
but before we get to our score predictions, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Pierce Timber Company is proud to sponsor the PC Nation Playbook and our Pierce County Bears. We are a full-service timber company from purchasing to harvesting to reforestation. Pierce Timber is your resource for all of your timber needs.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
So on to the score predictions. So this week again, we play Vidalia on the road. So Gove already gave me his prediction. Gove has got us winning 42-7. So we'll just go around the table. Cuneo, what you think?
That was kind of where I was leaning towards right there. I'll go 45-7.
45-7.
Considering that Brooks was the first time we gave up 2 touchdowns, 14, it's been 7 before that. I'll say we allow them 7, and we'll probably put up 35.
35-7?
35-7.
So I haven't been real close, so I hope I'm not real close again this week. But just looking at some of our injuries, again, playing on the road, it being their homecoming, they're going to be fired up. I know we'll be ready to play. I'm going to give them 14. So I'm going to go 35-14 Pierce.
I like it.
And we will also throw a new wrinkle in this week. There's a big game that you're traveling up to in Titletown, UGA and Alabama.
Yes.
And so we'll just give our score predictions for it and leave it at that. And so I'm going to take the liberty to go first on this one. And being we've got our guest here, I'm going to, in the spirit of Austin Moore, say Bama by 3. That's all I'm going to give it.
Negative Nancy.
Well, I said it last year, and I know Nick Saban's not there any longer, and the new guy, Caleb DeBoer, he's doing a good job, it looks like so far. I know they were a little bit slow in one of those games, but I'll say the difference maker again is Jalen Milroe and his ability to make plays when the play breaks down, not just able to throw it downfield, but the dude's a running back. I mean, the guy is an incredible athlete, incredible runner. We don't have that. As good of a quarterback as Carson Beck is, you give him time, he'll stand back there, he'll pick you apart, he'll make the throws, but he's not, I said it last year, he's not Stetson Bennett. He's not able to make the plays that Stetson could make with his feet, and I think that's the difference in the game. My thoughts. Okay. On to Gove. Gove gave a prediction, 28-24 Dogs. So go Dogs, I like it, but
38-31 Dogs. And for all the Mike Bobo haters out there, he's going to have a good game this week.
Woo, let's hope so.
I hope so too, so I might be pro on that.
Austin, what do you got?
I love my Georgia Bulldogs, and I have always been an Alabama sympathizer. Holt Rowland is the reason that I sympathize with Alabama.
I understand that one.
I don't know, after watching this past season so far, I don't know that Georgia's man enough to go into Tuscaloosa and beat them because...
Who was the one who made that statement?
It was Pat Dye, I believe.
Yeah, Pat Dye.
I don't know that they're man enough to go up into Tuscaloosa and whip those boys because you play the way we've played against Kentucky. Now, I will say that is in Lexington, and historically we have struggled mightily in Lexington, Kentucky.
It's always ugly.
But like you were saying with Milroe, a running quarterback, if you look at all the losses that we've had, what have we struggled with as a running quarterback? And
I'll tell you, I've said it a lot, the only teams that were able to get over that hump and beat Alabama, you look at Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Stetson Bennett.
Yep.
We don't have that.
No, we do not. So with that said, I will say Alabama 28, Georgia 14.
28-14. Woo! Big Bama win.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to our last segment. We're introducing a new segment this week, the Bear of the Week. And guys, is there any doubt who the Bear of the Week is?
No.
I don't think there is.
Okay, so we are going to give it to Garrett Stevenson. Obviously,
Yes.
we appreciate that, Garrett. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
You are a legend.
You caused me to lose my voice. I had to lead music at church the next Sunday, and I was good. And then he did that, and I couldn't really sing.
47-yard field goal to win it in high school ball. Incredible stuff.
Awesome.
That is,
So,
I'll go back and watch the
listener-
videos, a couple of videos that there's out there. I'd watch them usually once or twice a day just to relive it, because that was a great moment in Pierce County history. And he will always be remembered for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, we'll go ahead and close it out. I know we've been going a long time. Appreciate having you here, Austin.
I enjoyed it, guys.
Thank you to our community. You know, we've gotten a lot of good feedback so far. If you have suggestions or anything that would help us better the show, email marketing@mikebirchford.com or get in touch with one of us, because this show's about you. We want it to be about the community and the passion that we have, you know, for our athletics, for the kids, the coach, the whole 9 yards. You know, we try to make it about community, and that's what this show is for. And so we want you to have a voice in it. If you have any input, please get with us. And lastly, the game day breakfast that I missed last week being out of town was at First Baptist. Thank you to them. I think Andrew says it's at Briarwood again this week.
Isn't that what they said at this past week?
Yes, it's a Briarwood.
So it'll be back at Briarwood Baptist, the community-wide game day breakfast Friday morning, 7:45, Briarwood Baptist. Again, thank you. And thanks to you all. And as Andrew says,
Go Bears.
go Bears.
Go Bears.